The U.S. Treasury is now the IMF. The U.S. has not had a Treasury since 1921, 41 Stat Ch. 214 page 654. There is no lawful money. All money in circulation today is nothing more than an IOU, a form of debt. It is backed by nothing but a promise to pay. But pay with what? The government systematically removed the backing of gold and silver from our monetary system. The federal government officially took America off the gold standard in 1933, during what is now recognized as a staged bankruptcy, known as the Great Depression. In its place, the government introduced an economic principle known as negotiable debt instruments. This transition was not an accident. It was a calculated maneuver designed to strip Americans of their possessions and God-given rights. As a result, every American is now legally classified as a debtor and chattel, property, owned by a hidden creditor. The hidden lien on all transactions. Every financial transaction made using Federal Reserve notes is subject to a hidden lien. These notes are not owned by the American people or even the U.S. government. They are a foreign product, issued by a foreign corporation, the Federal Reserve. Moreover, the states and U.S. courts are bankruptcy courts that exist to protect the interests of the foreign creditor, not the American people. Every U.S. citizen who transacts in Federal Reserve notes is subjected to an income, excise, tax, essentially a fee for using a foreign commodity. This system has divested Americans of the rights, value, and profits of their labor, which have been systematically stolen. The loss of U.S. sovereignty in 1933. The United States lost its sovereignty in 1933 and has been in receivership to a hidden creditor ever since. The so-called U.S. government is merely a puppet controlled by unseen financial powers, as famously declared by Mayer Amschel Rothschild, 1744-1812. Permit me to issue and control the money of a nation, and I care not who makes the laws. One of the most egregious acts committed by the federal government was the unconstitutional seizure of America's gold by President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Under the guise of economic stabilization, Roosevelt forced Americans to turn in their gold, which was then funneled to the Vatican via China, concealing its true ownership. The gold in Fort Knox does not belong to the United States, it belongs to foreign entities. With no gold to back the currency, the U.S. economy now functions purely on debt. This means that when an individual takes out a mortgage, they are not borrowing tangible value but instead borrowing debt. The mortgage industry commits fraud by loaning nothing of substance, yet still demands full repayment with interest, a perpetual cycle of financial enslavement. The prophecy of Thomas Jefferson, future slavery of the people. Thomas Jefferson foresaw the dangers of a debt-based economic system, warning: if we run into such debts as must be taxed in our meat and in our drink, in our necessaries and our comforts, in our labors and our amusements, for our callings and creeds. Our people must labor 16 hours in the 24, and give the earnings of 15 of these to the government for their debts and daily expenses. Jefferson understood that taxation, public debt, and government mismanagement would ultimately lead to widespread oppression. He described this system as a frightful chain in which taxation and debt reduce citizens to mere automatons of misery, enslaved to financial and governmental forces. The federal income tax deception. Americans are burdened with dozens of taxes, including automobile registration tax, capital gains tax, estate tax, gasoline tax, inventory tax, liquor tax, property tax, school tax, telephone usage tax, workers' compensation tax. Among them, the federal income tax is the most oppressive. The reality is that no law exists requiring Americans to file a 1040 tax form or pay income tax. Former IRS agents who discovered this truth resigned and ceased paying, yet, due to their insider knowledge, they were never prosecuted. Meanwhile, ordinary citizens who refuse to pay face imprisonment, asset forfeiture, and financial ruin. Federal income taxes do not fund essential services such as infrastructure or education. Instead, highways are funded by the gasoline tax and toll roads. Education is funded by local and state taxes, property taxes, and sales taxes. The federal income tax goes primarily toward interest payments on national debt and government waste. This was confirmed by Dwight E. Avis, head of the Alcohol and Tobacco Tax Division of the Bureau of Internal Revenue, who stated, "Your income tax is a 100% voluntary tax, and liquor tax is 100% enforced tax. The situation is as different as night and day." The global system of perpetual debt. Today, all people are enslaved by a system of perpetual debt. The ruling class, consisting of international bankers, uses the global financial system to maintain its grip over the world. These elite families own and control everything, from education systems to the media, ensuring that truth remains hidden from the public. At the top of this hierarchy of control lies a powerful priesthood-like elite, led by a secret society with roots in the Knights Templar. This group is commonly referred to as the Illuminati. Among these families, the Rothschild dynasty alone has accumulated nearly half of the world's wealth. The wealth hoarded by these families could easily eliminate world poverty, yet it remains tightly controlled, further enslaving humanity. This is not just economic manipulation, it is a carefully structured system designed to strip individuals of autonomy and perpetuate financial servitude for generations to come.